Mr. Ikongbeh is back. Mr. Marx is back.
Fernandez, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and my apologies. My network has struggled a little bit, but I've switched service providers, and I'm optimistic this time around we won't have the same challenges. Uh, Apologies, Emmanuella, for keeping you waiting. Please carry on.
No problem, sir. You're welcome. You're welcome once again. Thank you. So we are just moving into the session, and then, sir, please, we'll be asking you questions regarding this particular topic, and I would want you to be really practical about it. Thank you, sir. So starting with the first question, sir, can you hear me? Hello, sir, can you hear me?
Emmanuella.
It seems his network is a
Yes,
bit
I can
bad.
hear you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm starting with the first question.
Well, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Yes, please carry on, Emmanuella. I hear you. I can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you, sir.
I hope you
So
can hear
starting with
me.
the first question. The first question is, why should legal practitioners go beyond search? And how can Google's AI be of help in legal practice?
Okay,
Hello,
thank you very
sir.
much.
Mr. Ikongbeh, please go ahead. We could hear you.
I guess his network is bad. Wait.
Okay, so have we all? I think his network is just gone off again. Maybe he will switch networks back to the previous one. Apologies, we had done a network check yesterday earlier to confirm his network. It appears the internet is out for us again, but that's one of the things about the technology that we use. But it's much like life. Sometimes it feels you, sometimes it doesn't. That being said, if you have not already downloaded it, please go ahead and download the various documents that you have there. I mean, I would like to see in the chat box if you've downloaded it. Let's see how. Let's see by show of hands or by this thing. Tell me if you've downloaded the one on the use of artificial intelligence in the legal profession. By show of hands. Okay, so Halima appears to have downloaded it. I want us to look at it because it's very important. Some of the questions that you may need to ask are already answered there. Some of the things that you need to know about the system are already on there. So please look at it. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Whiskey, for downloading all four. Mercy, thank you very much. Adiola, thank you. Mr. Habert, good, 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 thank you. So please just take a few moments to skim through. Again, like I said, some of the questions that we're going to ask, some of the things that are going to be said are going to be coming out from there. That document is a working document, and we're going to improve on it based on the knowledge of artificial intelligence as it goes. But so far, we appear to have been it appears to cover up most of the areas that need to be covered. So thank you all very much for that. While we're waiting for Mr. Ikongbeh to come, um, we're going to do a poll right now, so you can just respond to the polls. So I'm launching it. Please answer. Please do answer the poll questions there for you to answer. Are they not on your screen? Because I'm seeing just a few responses. Yes, please go ahead and answer the poll questions.
Okay, Fernandez, can you hear me now? I think I've sorted out my network challenges. Apologies.
Yes,
Confirm if you
yes.
can hear me.
Yes, we can
Okay.
hear you now.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, this is technology for you. I think I heard somewhere that I think somebody said technology can be like one of the genders, always lets you down when when you are relying on it the most. So permit me to start first of all with an apology to everyone. I apologize for keeping you waiting for almost 20 minutes. Please accept my apologies. My internet has been crazy today. I'm juggling three networks and none of them seems to be giving me traction, but I suspect I've sorted out the issue and we shouldn't have that problem anymore. Then permit me to also thank the SLP leadership and the tech committee of SLP for inviting me to share some of my thoughts and my practical experience on this session. And of course, I must also thank my very patient moderator, Emmanuella, this afternoon. So I'll launch straight away into the first question that Emmanuella asked. Why should we go beyond search when it comes to Google? I would say the answer is pretty simple, and shortly I'll do a demo just to show us practically how this works. But essentially, Google has presented us all a very powerful tool. So, I mean, I don't know what the going rate is now for hiring a personal assistant, but I know it's not, it doesn't come cheap, particularly for a lawyer, because not only do you need someone who is smart and knowledgeable, but you need somebody who is able to juggle and handle a lot of things. So one of the things that the tool we are going to be looking at this afternoon, Google Notebook LM, is essentially just that it's a really smart personal assistant. So it helps you do a lot of things, helps you do research, would help you with a deep dive into documents. And then one aspect, very interesting aspect of the Google tool we are looking at today, Google Notebook LM, is that you can actually use it as a personal lecturer, as it were. So you can actually feed it some documents and then allow the Google tool to give you insight into that document in form of a lecture delivered by two different people. So, you know, its uses, it's as wide as, you know, as you can, as anything you could get an assistant to do for you. So, in terms of documents, reviewing documents and helping you really dig into documents. As lawyers, of course, we handle documents a lot. And one of the challenges we have is we really need time to do a deep dive. Essentially, you want to know, in a quick way, what the contents of the document are, particularly PDF documents, which is one of the things that we use a lot. So that's one of the things that the tool we are looking at today does excellently, and we'll shortly be going into a live demo session. So I'd encourage you, if you have a second device, or if you have a way you can minimize the window on this device, please do get on that device ready so that we go through it step by step. We'll start from the very first step, how to access the Google tool in question, how to use it. So I'll take you step by step, every inch of the way. So I'll let you, Emmanuella, I'll do a few more questions and then we jump right into the practical session. So please, that just gives you time to get your devices ready for us to experience what Google Notebook LM can do for you, and why you should not simply be using Google for search alone, but you should look at using the more powerful tools that Google has made available at your disposal. And the good thing about the Google tool, and why I personally like it, is because it's largely free. There are other tools equally as good as Google Notebook LM, but most of them you will not get the same package on the free version. But with the Google Notebook LM, there's a pro version as well. You have to pay, but even the free version, which is the demo today, gives you a lot of value that I think we should you'll be sort of wasting what is readily available if you are not using some of these things in legal practice. So, Emmanuella, that's my answer to the first question. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Max. Thank you so much for answering the question excellently.
Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. So I'll be asking you a second question. Our second question is, what are the various Google AI tools for legal practice? What are the various Google AI tools for legal practice?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so Google has quite a number of AI tools. One of the things I always tell people to note is that, it's a point that is always good to have at the back of our. Yes, AI is not necessarily the way we think about it. AI, particularly ChatGPT and the generations that have followed it, language model are quite new. Sometimes think when we talk about AI, it's only the thing now, ChatGPT and the rest. But Google, even before AI boom, AI power, they may not have been, but there are also artificial intelligence part, even as simple. So yesterday I was headed one of our senior colleagues, an unfortunate address. I didn't know they had that address. And it was me. I didn't have to call anyone to get their address. I simply opened the Google Maps, typed, and I saw the location of their new office on Google Maps. And the location I knew the new part of Abuja, but the map led me there. I didn't have to ask anybody. I didn't have to stop to ask for directions. We knew that before this time, to get from point A to point B, you would need to. One of the things we know about AI is that AI simply is where computers try to emulate human intelligence and deliver what normally would have been delivered by human.
Hello, sir. Are you there? Sorry, it seems we lost him. We can't hear him again. Please, I will encourage you to exercise patience. Our speaker will be joining us soon.
Emmanuella, confirm you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Oh,
Welcome back.
thank you so much. My sincere apologies again with the challenges with the with the network. The more reliable Wi-Fi network I have, they seem to have had a cable cut and their network is down since morning today. The mobile networks have not given me much traction, but we'll keep managing along. So, Emmanuel, I didn't get your second. Okay, your second question was essentially what the
The
tools that Google
various
has.
Google AI tools.
Yeah, tools. Yeah. So I was mentioning that some of the older Google tools, like Google Maps, for instance, is an AI tool, but conventionally, Google has a very powerful generative AI tool called Gemini. Gemini is just like ChatGPT, but is provided by Google. So specifically, what we are going to be looking at this afternoon is a Google tool called Google NotebookLM, which essentially is like a powerful, personal or research assistant that Google has made available at your disposal. So I think without waste of time, because we are beginning to really run short of time due to the network challenges I've had, I'll very soon begin to move towards getting to the demonstration, showing us live what the Google Notebook LM looks like. But amongst many other tools that Google have, Google Notebook LM is one of the powerful AI tools that Google has put at your disposal to help you essentially let your documents talk to you. So it's that's one of the ways I can describe it. You can make your documents come alive and speak to you. So it's one thing to look for a PDF document to read it, another thing to actually have the document speak back to you. So you can program, for instance, Google Notebook LM to digest a document, a PDF document, and while you are driving, you can ask questions and let that document speak back to you using the Google Notebook LM AI tool. So like I told you, please just get ready. Maybe Emmanuel, after your next question, I'll share my screen and can do a live demo of how to get on board the Google Notebook LM and how to use it.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your response. Well, before we move forward, I would want to ask from the last question I asked. So from your answer, it's obvious that there are several Google AI tools. And for today, we're basically looking at Google Notebook LM. But sir, please, can you share with us why Google Notebook LM is more preferred?
Yes, thank you, Emmanuella. So indeed, there are many other tools online that can do what Google Notebook LM does. So even the regular Adobe Acrobat PDF reader that we usually use to, for PDF documents also can help you do a deep dive. It can help you review a document, a PDF document. It can help you answer questions about that document. So for instance, one of the demonstrations I'm going to be doing this afternoon is the rules of court. You can get the rules of court, put them into this AI system and ask it questions. You could help, you maybe want to find out how many days you have to file a process, for instance, and it will tell you exactly what the rules say. It will also tell you the nuances. It will let you know where other portions of the rules contain further guidance about the subject you're asking it about. But like I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons why I prefer Google Notebook LM and why I use it compared to the others is that number one, Google Notebook LM, just like any of these other tools, has a free version and a paid version. But for most of the other tools, the free version is very limited. So, for instance, on some of them, the free version you can only upload a PDF document with a limited number of pages. And then the number of things you can do if you are using a free version for those ones is a lot limited. But with Google Notebook LM, you are almost all the features are available to you just by logging on and creating an account. Another important reason why Google Notebook LM is quite preferable to the others is that with some of them, you have to install the software. But with Google Notebook LM, you don't even need to do an installation. You can simply go online and in your browser, simply access the Google Notebook LM tool just in your browser. And all you have to just to create, in fact, you don't even necessarily need to create an account. If you already have a Google account logged into that device, automatically that Google account becomes your account for that purpose. So it's so easy to use. That's part of the reasons why I prefer Google Notebook LM. It's easy to use, it's largely free. So for those two reasons, I think Google Notebook LM is preferable to many of the other tools you have out there to use as a research assistant, particularly with respect to PDF documents. So I think at this point, Emmanuella, it might be good if we actually get into the practical session. I hope the admin has enabled me to share my screen. Okay, thank you, admin. I see I can share
Yes.
my screen. Yes, I'll shortly share my screen, and we can, and we'll start the journey from beginning. So if you are also joining the call and you want to, you can actually also open a new screen on your device, and I'll just carry you through how to use the Google Notebook LM. So I already have a screen open for it, but I'm going to close this so that we start from the very scratch, and you can see how it works. So yeah, so this is a simple. Sorry, it's my apologies. Sorry, let me share my screen now. I mistakenly closed my browser, so my screen sharing stopped. Okay. So Emmanuella, confirm once you can see my screen. Just let me know the moment you can see my screen. So once you can see my screen, you let me know before I carry on.
Yes, I can see your screen. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So with my screen open, if you want to go to Google Notebook LM, it's as simple as just Googling it. So you can just simply type Google Notebook LM, just do a normal Google search. Yeah, I'm just using the simplest ways to show us how to get across to it. I mean, of course, one of the things you can do also, which is what I've done, is to bookmark the Google Notebook LM in your browser. So anytime you want to go to it, you don't have to go around and do a Google search like I did just now. You will always have it available. So to do a bookmark, if you can see my cursor, there's a star showing up. Can you see where my cursor is, Emmanuella? There's a star showing up there. Exactly. So if you click on that star, so it allows you to create a bookmark for the Google Notebook LM. So anytime you want to come back to it, you don't have to go all the way around and do a Google search, just like I did. But I'm assuming you are going for the first time, you can do a simple Google search and it takes you there. So you can see the first result that shows there is Google Notebook LM, note-taking and research assistant. You click on that. So, Emmanuel, I hope you can still see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so this is the homepage of the Google Notebook LM. So it gives you some information about itself. Of course, at the top of the page, you can see a place that says plans. So that's for the pro version, the paid version. I mean, of course, if you do a lot of, if you need to do a lot of work with PDFs, you can actually go for the paid version. It's also really good and it's real value for money as well. But for today, I'm using the free version just so we can all see what it's like. So you click on Try Notebook LM. Yeah. So you can see that in this notebook, I already have some of the rules already uploaded, but I'm going to show you how to upload an entirely new PDF document that you want to interact with. So you see the place that says Create New. You click on Create New. So Emmanuel, just let me know you're following me. If at any point you lose me, please do let me know so I can slow down.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, having clicked on Create New, it gives me the option to upload a PDF document. So I click on Upload Sources. That's how to upload a PDF. I mean, you could also upload even videos, as a matter of fact. So it's not just PDF documents, but I'm sticking to PDF documents for this demo because for us lawyers, that's largely one of the primary uses we need this tool for. So I click on Upload Sources, and then it gives me the option. So I'll just search for the PDF document in question that I want to upload. So, I mean, it depends. Of course, sometimes what you can do when using this tool is to put that PDF document maybe on your desktop where you can easily get access to it so you don't have to search too deeply in your document. So I'm trying to upload a PDF copy of the Evidence Act 2011. So I hope you can still see my screen. It takes a while. You can see my cursor. The document is currently loading, so it takes a while for the document to load. And then, of course, it takes the software some time to quickly digest the document. So another tip to get the best out of a tool like Google Notebook LM, you should always try to use PDF documents that are text readable. So those are PDF documents that actually have the words in them are readable easily, not necessarily the ones that are scanned pages. Even the ones that are scanned pages, the software is powerful enough to convert the text in those scanned pages through what we call the OCR, on-screen character recognition. But typically, if you use a document that already has text readable feature, you just make it easier for the software to interact with the document. So now my document has been loaded. You can see it on the left there. It shows me the document I have, Evidence Act 2011. You can also use the add button there if you want to add more documents. So maybe I'll add the child right enforcement rules as well to that. So that's just to give me more. And the reason why I can add more documents is that you can actually get it to help you do a comparative analysis of the different documents. That's also another possible feature you can use it for as well. So give me a minute to quickly load the Child's Rights Act enforcement rules as well. So you can see that that is also getting loaded at the other segment. But now that my Evidence Act has been loaded, I hope you can see my screen, Emmanuella. I can see the middle button, the middle segment, sorry guys, the middle segment called Chat. So under that segment is where it gives you the opportunity to interact, by via way of chatting with the document. So you can ask it questions about the document, the Evidence Act 2011 that I've uploaded, and it can give me answers back about it. So for instance, I can ask it a question like, what provision of the Evidence Act allows admissibility of electronic evidence? So I just type that in and I click. And this would also enable me show you another powerful feature, another reason why I prefer Google Notebook LM to some of the other features that give you the same AI features, that give tools that give you the same research feature. So you can see now it gives me a long text. The Evidence Act 2011 provides specific provisions for admissibility. It breaks, it gives me a long write-up about it. But you need to note something, which is one of the important features of Google Notebook LM, is that when it gives you information, it doesn't simply give you the information, it tells you the source. It gives you a link to be able to see for yourself the source of that information. So you can see a little number one there in the beside the first answer. Emmanuella, can you see that?
Yes, sir.
The one there. Yeah, so once you put your cursor on that one, it shows you where it got that answer from. The reason why this is important is that we all know that AI has a flaw called hallucination, where sometimes the AI can give you a completely wrong answer. So one of the areas we know that happens a lot is with case citations. AI can generate a case and tell you that the case of Marx versus Fernandez, and gives you a citation, and that doesn't exist at all. I mean, it's a very common problem. So sometimes AI has that problem, but with AI tools like Google Notebook LM, because it shows you exactly where you got that information from, you can, for yourself, look it up and confirm if it is actually correct. So it just helps you do that. So you can see that the tool has already told me that Section 84 of the Evidence Act, which we all know, is the primary section that allows admissibility of electronic evidence. It goes ahead to give me a long write-up. So I can, for instance, because I don't want to read something too long, I can say, can you give me, so I can ask it, and can you give me a 100-word summary I want you to give me a shorter summary, not something as long as what it just gave me. So this just, so you can see, it gives me a much shorter summary. Bullet points. The Evidence Act 2011 primarily under Part 5, documentary evidence, governs the admissibility of electronic evidence. Section 84 is key. Align statements from computer-produced documents if conditions like regular use and proper operation are met, and information was regularly supplied and authentication. So you can see a very short summary in a very quick way. It lets me know the provisions. And because I click on that link interface, number 3 there, it shows me exactly where it is, getting the information is quoting to me from. So that way I can cross-check for myself and confirm that the information is giving me is accurate. So I hope we can see from this how this document can save you, or I mean, this AI tool can save you from running to that risk of giving fake citations or going to state a position from AI. Of course, ethical responsibilities, and Fernandez has stressed that and encouraged us to download the guideline on use of AI produced by the SLP Technology Committee, and which has, of course, been adopted by the MDA. One of the things it tells us that as a lawyer, the fact you're using an AI tool does not mean that you have outsourced your responsibility. You still maintain your professional responsibility. You must cross-check your information. So what an AI tool like Google NotebookLM does is that it makes it easy for you to review and be sure that the information you have gotten from the AI tool is accurate. So, and you can also go further to even ask it a question and tell it to make an argument for you based on section 84. So I can say, kindly give me a brief argument showing why regular use is important to admissibility of electronic evidence. Okay, my spelling of admissibility is wrong, so I can quickly correct that. Yeah. So, yeah, you can see now it gives me a whole write-up, which is something you can simply copy and take into your brief of argument that you are writing, for instance, and deposit it there. Of course, one of the best practices using AI also is that you should not use AI whole scale. So you can take a little snippet of your argument and allow the AI guide you on that argument. Of course, you have to cross-check it before you copy that portion of the argument and paste it into your brief, because you retain responsibility for what you say. So, for instance, in Google NotebookLM, copying the answer I just gave me now is as simple as going to the interface. Yeah, I hope you can see that interface copy. All I do is click it and it copies it to my clipboard, and I can go to Microsoft Word and instantly paste that what I've copied there, and just continue my work with that. So I hope you can see that from this. And of course, same thing I did earlier on, I can also tell it to summarize this argument. If the argument is too long, it's done quite a lengthy argument on why regular use is important, it's crucial for the admissibility of electronic evidence, primarily because it underpins the reliability and trustworthiness of computer-generated documents. So you can see that it's written in language you can already copy and take directly to your brief. You can also tell it to summarize this and make it shorter. You can tell it to elaborate on it some more. You can tell it to widen it. So there are so many things you can get it to do for you. So you can see how this already serves as a research assistant. So when people sometimes worry whether AI will take the work of lawyers, sometimes this is where there may be a challenge, because some of these are things you would have told maybe an associate in your firm to help you quickly do. Can you write me a brief argument on why regular use is important for admissibility of electronic evidence? So this is something that this AI tool can do for you. And of course, if you are the associate who has been asked to do this, you can simply use Google NotebookLM or any of the other AI tools to do it. But of course, like we always keep saying, remember to ensure that you cross-check the information before you use that information in the brief that you are putting out, to the court. So Emmanuella, I'll pause at this point, and then we'll take a few more questions, and then we'll look at the next very important feature of Google Notebook LM.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for that practical session. Thank you.
Emmanuella, sorry, before
Yes,
we
sir.
go to the next question, the next segment I want to do is to show an example of how you can get Google Notebook LM to do you like a lecture out of a document you are fed to read. It takes some time for it to generate that lecture. So I want to set it, I want to show how the process of getting it to do that, how to start that process, and then we'll allow it while we go to questions, and then we can come back to now demo what it looks like. So similar thing, for instance, if I want Google Notebook LM to give me a discussion about the child's right enforcement rules, for instance, I've already uploaded it here. So all I have to do now is to uncheck the box for Evidence Act 2011. So what you need to understand is that on the left part of the page where it says sources, it's talking about all the documents that you have loaded up on your Google Notebook LM. And it is from those documents that the tool is going to do research and give you feedback from. So you can choose which document you want it to speak to you from at any point in time. So now, because I have two documents uploaded, the Evidence Act 2011 and the Child's Right Enforcement Rules, both of them are selected. But if I want to hear from the tool only on the Child's Right Enforcement Rule, all I have to do is to click on the check mark and remove the check mark from the Evidence Act. So it means that currently now the tool is going to only be focused on the Child's Right Enforcement Procedure Rule. So I've done that. Then for the next tool, which is the right column of the page, you can see where it says Studio. So on that column, essentially, it can give you a voice of an audio overview of the document. You can design how you want it to give you that overview. So when you go there, you can see it says deep dive conversation, 2 hosts. So that means the AI tool is going to have two voices actually give you like a lecture from that document. So you can go first of all to the column that says customize, to design how what exactly you want it to speak to you about. So you can also adjust the length. So you have the shorter, the default, and the longer. So I'll go for the shorter. I just want to give us something small. And then what do you want them to focus on? You can tell them. So for instance, I can say, I want you to focus on, tell me about the procedure for adoption. And I just click on generate. So it's going to take us some time. So you can see it tells us generating conversation based on one source. This may take a few minutes, no need to stick around. So we can go do something else while we'll allow it cook, and then we'll come back to it. So Emmanuella, let's go ahead with some other questions, and then we'll come back when our lecture will be ready, and then we'll see how the Google Notebook LM would allow us. Then admin, I hope I would be permitted to also share my audio so that when I want to do this demo, I can share my audio. Fernandez, confirm I can share audio.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, thank you. So Emmanuella, back to you. While we allow this
All right,
ready.
thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much for that practical session. In fact, as you continued, you've answered a lot of questions, some outlined questions already. But quickly, I would love to take some questions from the audience. I have some questions outlined here from the audience. Here's a question from Adekemi Faturuti. He's saying, does this mean that Notebook LM doesn't work without uploading a document for it to analyze and evaluate? Does this mean that Notebook LM doesn't work without uploading a document for it to analyze and evaluate? Mr. Marx,
Okay.
over to you.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. So you need to understand that Notebook LM actually is based off of Google's already existing AI tool called Gemini, which is very popular. And once you have that, particularly if you use an Android device, you already have Gemini installed by default, or anytime you go for an update of your device, Gemini will be installed automatically. So Google Notebook LM actually works off the Gemini platform. So Gemini already is your default. So if you want to simply do a search and you don't have a document you specifically want to upload, you can use Gemini. So Google Notebook LM specifically is to help you narrow down the sources of your information. And the importance of that is that when you use the general tools or you do a general search, sometimes you come up with too many information and it's difficult to filter out and get the most relevant information. So what a tool like Google Notebook LM does for you is that it helps you to be in control of the source of information or of the source you want your information to come from. So that's the advantage really. So if you are trying to do a search and you do not necessarily want to be limited to any particular documents, then I would recommend that you use Gemini. Gemini is just like ChatGPT. You use it, and the difference between Gemini and the earlier version of ChatGPT was that the earlier versions of ChatGPT used only sources that were already used in its training. It did not actually use current online sources, but Gemini uses current online sources. That means when Gemini is giving you a search, is giving you a response, it's using also real time any information currently found on the internet. So even if you do a regular Google search now, if you notice, so maybe I'll just do a demo of that as well and show you. Even when you do a regular Google search, typically the Gemini, interface also comes up. So let me do a regular Google. Let's go to a regular Google search. Okay, so our note is already ready, but we'll come back to that later. So notice if you do a regular Google search. So for instance, what is the Nigerian procedure for adoption? So I hope you can see my screen. I'm doing a regular.
Yes.
Okay, I'm doing a regular Google search. Yeah. So you can see that I did a regular Google search. Before Google launched their AI tool Gemini, this search would have just shown me results starting from this, the first result you see there in law paddy. But if you notice now, on the top, there's something called overview. That's actually, a simple overview by Google Gemini. So you can see that if you do not have a particular source document you want to do a research on, then I'd recommend you use Google Gemini. It's more open-ended, but the Google Notebook LM actually is specified to help you narrow down the sources from which you want your information. Like I mentioned, it's not only documents. You can PDF documents is one of the common things we work with as well. You can upload even videos, you can upload audio, you can upload other things, and Google Notebook LM would still help you do a deep research and give you responses on them. Yeah, so back to you, Emmanuella.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for that. So here's another question from Adesola Ajayi. The question is, are the PDF or other information uploaded at the risk of public consumption? This has to do with privacy.
That's a very good question, and that's one of the questions that I'll keep going back to the guidance on the use of AI in the legal profession that was prepared by the SLP and adopted now by the NBA. That's one of the things he addresses actually. So, I mean, every AI service provider will tell you that there's confidentiality and that any information you give to their put up in their platform is confidential. But we know that, because they are commercial parties, they have a commercial interest in commercializing the data that comes to their platform. So in as much as they give us that assurance that it is, there's privacy and confidentiality, my recommendation always remains that do not upload documents that contain confidential information. So one of the things you can do, for instance, you can use Google Notebook LM, for instance, to analyze, say, even if somebody writes, another member of your team writes a brief of argument, for instance, and you want to review it before filing in court, you can use Google Notebook LM to do that review. But one of the best practices and what you should do is to do redaction. That means you go to that document and remove all the personal information, things like the name of your client, their address, their phone number, their email address. Remove all that confidential information, or you can change them to maybe, for instance, the name of a person, you change it to Mr. XXX, just so that you shield or disguise the confidential information in that document. So in as much as AI service providers will always assure you of confidentiality and all of that, it is not best practice to put in confidential information. So Google Notebook LM is a good tool, but if you are going to use it, then try to ensure that you remove any personal and confidential information. Now, there's an argument on the other side. People argue that, well, if you are using it for certain documents, for instance, court processes, they are already public documents that are going to be filed in the public registry, so there's no fear. But even at that, the recommendation still remains that it is wiser not to put your client's confidential information into any of these AI tools. So if you can also use, of course, very easy in Microsoft Word, the find and replace tool. So you can use find and replace to replace everywhere where the name or the address or that confidential information reoccurs. Change it to something else that masks that information before you put it up into this tool. So if you are using an AI tool, please, you still bear responsibility of ensuring that you do not release confidential information, particularly client's information, to that AI tool, because if you do, that information might end up in what they call the pool of data that AI tool uses to improve itself. And there could be a data breach, and that information can get into the public domain, and it might open you up to liability for negligence in your duty of client confidentiality. So reading the guidance that Fernandez put out would help you address that question very carefully, and some of the safeguards you can put in place to ensure that in using AI tools, you are not inadvertently putting your client's information into the public domain. Yes, Fernandez, the deep dive is ready.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
We'll take one more question and go back to the deep dive. If there's any other question before we go back to the deep dive.
Okay. Okay, we'll just take one more question before we go back to the deep dive. So, how has the use of Google Notebook LM improved your legal practice in your firm, sir? So,
okay, thank you. Yeah, so
are you there, sir?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Emmanuella, for so that question. So I remember the first time I came across Google Notebook LM. I was working on or I was given the task of reviewing a quite complicated mining related agreement. And part of what I wanted to do was that I wanted to be able to see, for instance, every part in that agreement where there was an insurance obligation on my client, just so that I could see all the obligations my client had with respect to insurance in one place. Of course, the traditional way to do this before now is to go through the document and maybe use a marker, a highlighter, and highlight everywhere where it talks about that subject matter, and then now start trying to juxtapose and compare them and just be sure that there's consistency in all those different obligations. But that was about the time where somebody introduced me to Notebook LM, and it was a platform like this. And I just simply took that document, because the document was given to me in Microsoft Word. So I was able to do what I mentioned to you. So maybe before the end of the session, I'll also demo to you how you can redact a document, how you can take out sensitive information using automated features in Microsoft Word, which is also another very simple thing to do. So I went to Microsoft Word, I took out all the confidential information, the name and the address and other details that would be confidential out of that agreement, and I converted it to PDF and loaded it into the Google Notebook LM, and I asked the simple question: kindly highlight to me every insurance obligation imposed on Mr. XXX, which was the name I'd given to my client in this document. And prompto, in barely 5 seconds, it had given me all those obligations. You can imagine that if I was doing this manually, I would have to go to, this was a very complex document. The agreement spanned over, I think, about almost 120 pages. So imagine the length of time it would have taken for me to go through that 120 pages to filter out every single place where my client had an insurance obligation. But in under 5 seconds, even less, of course, the Google Notebook LM had brought out to me all those provisions. And then importantly, like I always keep saying, it did not only just tell me that these are all the obligations, it highlighted to me everywhere. It showed me a link to actually look at every single place where it had pointed out, so that way, instead of flipping through the document, I could simply go to that number and look actually at the actual document. So for me personally, it helped me with, I work a lot with PDF documents like I know most lawyers do. and of course with other sources. But for me, what it has done for me is that it has really increased my time it takes for me to review a document, because it helps me. I mean, I would always keep repeating the fact that the document can do a lot of these things. It will be unethical, for instance, for me to use Google Notebook LM to generate a summary of a document and share that with a client without letting the client know that this was done by Google Notebook LM. I would only use Google Notebook LM to support my review of the document, but I maintain responsibility for the review of that document. I am not outsourcing my responsibility of that review to Google Notebook LM and then just picking whatever Google Notebook LM gives me and just sending out of no. I would only use it for bits and chunks to assist me. So it is always good to use AI as a tool to assist you, but not a tool that you delegate your responsibilities to. So for me, in my practice, Google Notebook LM has really helped me, particularly with document review. That's one powerful tool, one powerful use that I've benefited from Google Notebook LM. Thank you. So
All
I
right,
guess
thank you, sir. Please, can we go back to the
I guess
practical
at this point
session?
we'll go back to the practice. Yeah, we'll go back to the deep dive document that we had. So confirm to me once you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now? Emmanuella, can you see my screen? Can you confirm if you can?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's currently showing a black screen. Maybe you close it and open it again.
Okay. Maybe we'll give it some time. I think it's loading. Has it loaded now? I believe because of the slower network on my
No,
end.
I think
While
it's still loading.
okay, still loading. Okay. Sorry, we'll just give it a few more seconds. Has it loaded? Can you see it now?
No, sir.
Okay, sorry. Let me stop the share and redo it. Perhaps that would get it to come up. Okay, just a second. I'm going back to share the screen again. Okay, confirm if the screen is up now.
No, it's not. It's still loading.
Okay, my apologies. Maybe there's another question we could take it while we are waiting for the screen to get done
Okay.
loading. Yeah.
Okay, there is a question here from the audience, though. Johnson Babalola is asking, what are the implications of usage of AI in improving or limiting the reasoning capacity of practitioners, of legal practitioners?
Sorry, please repeat that question. I didn't get it fully.
Okay, what are the implications of usage of AI in improving or limiting the reasoning capacity of practitioners?
That's an interesting question, and
I
it's
guess
something
this has to do, yeah. So you can go on, sir.
okay. Yeah, thank you. So I said that's an interesting question, and it comes up quite a lot because people have the anxiety that tools like AI would make people lazy, and make people outsource their responsibility to reason things to the system. So that is actually a risk. But I think in reality, overall, what AI can do for you is that it gives you more time. It helps you utilize time more efficiently. So it never really can be a bad thing. But if AI is used without adhering to some of the ethical considerations we have said, then AI may have that effect where ultimately makes people sort of mentally lazy. People are no longer doing the hard, back-breaking work of research. And I'll give you a practical example. For me, I stopped using hard copy law reports when, of course, particularly Nigerian law report had the online version. I think I subscribed first for the Nigerian law report online version maybe that was in 2018 or 2017 at the MBA conference. I think it was 2017, the MBA conference in Lagos. That's the first time I knew they had the online version, and I moved to the online version of Nigerian Law Report. I was already at that time using the Law Pavilion online version as well, online law reports as well. So what had happened was that before that time, for older lawyers who have used the index of law reports, you know that there's the way to use index. I mean, you have to open the index, check through it and all of that to find the subject matter you are looking for, and then begin to scan through to find out which cases actually address that subject matter and all that. So it was kind of a longer process. But there's something about using an index manually that while you are looking for one topic of law, looking through the index, you are also inadvertently being forced to look at other report or other parts of the law report as well. You are seeing that, you are seeing other topics that you are not looking for. So in looking through an index for a particular topic, maybe you're looking for something about electronic evidence, you will see something about Public Officers Protection Act, you see other things. So in the course of researching, you are also learning when you use a manual index. But when you use an online law report, sometimes you short circuit that process because you're able to simply do a search and it gives you the cases you want without you having to go through this long route where you are reading other other information as well. So I found out that when I stopped using the index to do a search for a long time, I mean, I was enjoying using the online tools and it was fine and good until a period where I had some challenges and I had to now use the manual index to look for an authority. And I suddenly realized how much I was missing that manual process. So you can see that because I had gotten used to using online search, I had lost some of the advantages of having to look through an index and learn so much in the course of looking for a particular piece of information. So what I've recommend is that in as much as you use these AI tools and all these tools, let's not neglect some of those old traditional methods. They have some benefits that they still give to us. So if we are not careful, just to now give a pointed answer to that question, AI actually has the risk if we use it unethically and without any proper guidance. It will have that risk of actually reducing our ability to really to research, to reason, and to think things through, because we would ultimately end up in that place where we are delegating our reasoning skills and abilities and research skills to the tool without actually exercising those things. So it's always good that in a law firm, let's still strike that balance and use some of the manual tools in addition to the electronic tools and not just be completely carried away with the electronic tools. So Emmanuella, I believe at this point my screen is up now. Is it?
Thank you.
Is my screen up now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we are back to this screen. So of course we can all remember the Google Notebook LM screen. We remember that on the left is the sources. Those are the documents you essentially want to use. So the question I was asked earlier just shows that even when you come to Google Notebook LM, you can load a lot of PDF documents, a lot of sources there, but you select which source at any point in time you want to get feedback from. Then, of course, the middle is the chat box where you can actually ask questions and get a written response coming from that document. You can ask the AI tool any question about that document and it can answer them. And then on your right is the studio where we have the deep dive. So the deep dive essentially is sort of like a lecture that has been created for me by Google Notebook LM out of the Child Right Enforcement proceeding rules. Remember the focus I give it was focus on the procedure for adoption. So I'll play the audio now and you can listen and see the quality, of the response that you can get. And like I said, you can do this, program it, and while you are driving. So Fernandez, of course, has shared with me before the humorous story when he was taking the, I believe it was the membership exam for Charter Institute of Arbitrators. He had the reading list and he put those documents here and he allowed Google Notebook LM to become his lecturer. So here's an example of what Google Notebook LM has done in terms of giving me a response from the Child Right Enforcement Procedure rules on the procedure for adoption. So listen and confirm to me if you can hear it. So can you hear the audio?
Welcome to the deep dive.
Emmanuella, is the audio?
Today we're really
can you hear the audio? Confirm if you can hear the audio.
Yes.
Yes, you can hear it.
Yes, it's very clear.
getting into something significant. a legal process that genuinely changes lives. Adoption. We're going to explore the detailed steps from Nigeria's Child Rights Act enforcement rules from 2015. We'll give you the inside look at how it all works.
And it's fascinating, isn't it? Because right from the start,
So,
the
so you
source
can also
material
see that
hammers home
just to make
one
it so that
core
it's not
idea.
monotonous. The Google software allows two voices do that presentation, because this is, of course, based on research as well. If you have just one voice speaking for a long time, it gets monotonous. But having a second voice just makes it more interesting. So you can see that there's a male voice and a female voice. And you could actually tweak all of that and even change the language in which your feedback would come from as well. So let's listen a little bit more.
Everything, every single rule revolves around the child's best interest being paramount. That's not just legal jargon, it actively shapes the whole procedure.
Absolutely. It's about finding the right environment, not just any home. So our goal here is to basically give you a clear path through these key steps and requirements. You'll come away understanding this complex, but potentially incredibly rewarding journey much better.
Okay, so someone decides they want to adopt, a huge decision. Where does the actual sort of formal legal process begin?
It starts quite formally with an application. You have to make it to the family court. And it's not just any letter. It has to be on a specific form, Form 3 from the schedule in the rules. That's the official
you can also see
starting
that
gun, so to
it's
speak.
giving you specific details. It's not just giving you general details. It's telling you exactly where to find the form to use to make the application, what court you are supposed to go to and all that. So you can see it's really giving you really good quality information.
Form 3. Okay. And I'm guessing you can't just submit that form on its own. There must be supporting documents needed right from the get-go.
Oh, definitely. The rules are clear on this. You'll need things like, let's see, your marriage certificate, if you're married, obviously. Then birth certificates for the applicants, or a declaration of age, 2 passport photos each, and importantly, a medical certificate. It has to be from a government hospital proving fitness.
Fitness. Right. That makes sense. It shows you're physically up to the task long term.
Exactly. It underlines that commitment to the child's ongoing well-being.
Okay. Application in, documents submitted. Now, who actually can adopt? This is where it gets really interesting, I think, with the specific criteria.
Yes. The eligibility criteria are quite strict. It's not open to everyone. First off, you need to be a Nigerian citizen, and you have to have lived in the Federal Capital Territory for at least 5 years. That applies to the child too. They must reside there.
5 years residency. Okay. What else?
Age is a factor. For a joint application, one of you needs to be at least 25 and importantly, at least 21 years older than the child.
We can all see the value and the quality and the value of the information this AI tool has been able to generate out of the document and how it's guiding you through. So, of course, there are so many other things you can do with this information. For sake of time, I'll pause at this point. So there's a button here that allows you to share. So you can actually share this audio overview. So, for instance, you can do the audio, and maybe your colleague or your principal in the office has asked you to do this. You can do it and simply share this with him, and he can listen to it while he's driving. You can also do a few other things. There's the 3 dots. There's the option. You can change the speed at which they are speaking. You can make it faster. You can make it slower. That's an option. You can also download a copy of this deep dive audio as well, and decide to maybe take it up on another. Perhaps maybe you are traveling and you are not sure you might have network while you're on the road, for instance. So you can create a deep dive, download it, and then listen to it, even without the internet on or not even on another device while you are in transit. So these and so many others are some of the powerful things you can do with this tool. But again, like we keep saying, and I won't stop saying it, no matter how accurate these things are and how good they sound, of course, it's always wise to ensure that you double check, which is why on the chat side of it, you can always bring this back to the chat side. And on the chat side, those numbers there, this gives you the opportunity to look into the document and see exactly where the AI tool has picked information it has fed you from. So that becomes a powerful way to review, cross-reference, and ensure that you are doing quality control on whatever you have gotten from the AI tool. So and then the good thing about the Google NotebookLM is that, I've just tried to show you an overview. There's so much more you can do, actually, much more than this. So you can go to the button at the top, settings, for instance, and the first column there NotebookLM help allows you to actually go there and get more information on how to use Google NotebookLM. Like I mentioned, you can change the output language here as well. So another important use I've actually benefited from Google NotebookLM, I just touched on your last question, was that I've also had to work on documents where a contract between a Nigerian party and the counterparty was a Chinese party, and we actually use Google NotebookLM to help us cross-check all the translations used, because the way the contract was drafted was that it was written in English, and then after every paragraph in English, immediately the Chinese translation would follow, because the other party was Chinese. But because that translation was done using Google Translate, which, by the way, is another Google AI tool that would help you in practice as well, we're able to use Google NotebookLM to do a quick cross-check to be sure that all the translations done from English to Chinese were actually accurate. So that's another powerful way you can use this tool as well. So I guess I'll stop, Emmanuella, and we could take more questions as well.
All right. Thank you so much.
I'm sure at some point we'll also invite Fernandez to also join us, as we begin to wind up as well.
Yes, thank you so much.
So Fernandez, if there's any particular feature, any other thing you want me to show, please do mention, or if there's anything you want to add, I think you can also do that. But Emmanuella, if there are questions, we can take them while we still come back to Fernandez.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Marx. Indeed, this session is really insightful and really practical. So I'll take more questions from the audience. So there's a question from Uzoma. The question is, Mr. Uzoma, the question is, please, does Google NotebookLM have desktop or laptop version? Trying to use the features displayed by Mr. Marx, but I can't see the features on my phone version.
Oh, okay. So so on the phone, it works slightly different, but it's the same app, but it's just slightly different. But I personally always use this tool on my laptop. And like I mentioned to you, I see some other question there asking about the link to use it. So if you notice on the version I'm using, I didn't download it. It's just I'm using the browser. I just went to my normal Google Chrome browser, and I'm just using it there. I didn't have to do any downloads, any special downloads. So maybe I would just open that again to just demonstrate again the fact that you do not need anything special to use Google NotebookLM. So if you notice, this is my regular Google Chrome browser. I can just open up another tab and get into Google NotebookLM without having to do anything more than that. So once you go to your normal browser, Google Chrome is what I use. Any other browser you use, once you go there, you can just do a simple search for Google NotebookLM. So you can see that this is straight out of a Google search. And all I do, I just click on Google NotebookLM, and it takes me directly into the app. So for the person who asked the question, maybe the reason why you have not seen the features I did is that you have not created and uploaded any document yet. So you might need to, first of all, upload a document by clicking on create to upload at least one source. A PDF document, like I said, it could also be a video. It could even be an audio file as well. So the person who asked the question, can you try to upload at least one document and see if you get the features that I have just been walking us through? So for instance, I'm clicking now on the FCT High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2025, and that brings that up. So you can see that on this portal now, I have so many other documents I've uploaded. The Supreme Court Rules 2024 is there. The FCT High Court, FCT District Court Rules 2021 is there. FCT High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2025 is also there as well. So once you upload a document, you should be able to get this interface. But on the phone, it works slightly different. I usually do not use it on the phone. I typically use it on my desktop or my laptop, essentially. And I would likely also encourage you.
Yes, Mr. Marx, thank you very much. You had invited me to add. Emmanuella, can I add?
Yes, sir, please. You can go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to add that there's also the additional interactive option. I want to use a tab. Yes. So I uploaded
Yeah.
something already to
Okay, perfect.
my thing. Okay,
Yes.
so let me go back. Let me go back. Sorry, one moment. So that I can enable sound. I didn't enable sound when I first. Yep. So of course I've already
Things
done.
are changing
I'm going
fast
to
in the
through the
legal
entire
field in
process.
Nigeria, wouldn't you say?
But let's get
Especially
here. So we'll start the interactive mode. So what will happen is I'll ask questions while it's talking. So
things are changing fast in the legal field.
Peter,
Oh,
click
hey,
join.
our listener wants to join in. What's up?
Yes, I'd like to know what the specific rules are. I mean, I don't want something general. I want something more specific. Hold on, I'm having an issue with my whatever. But
Okay, yes, I think it's just taking a while for it to for it to load. Thank you, Fernandez,
yes,
for actually
no, yes. Let
bringing
me
this
just
up. The
go
fact
over it
that
again. Okay, let's do it on
you
your
can
own side.
interact,
Yes.
yeah, audio. Okay. Let me try on my side. Thank you for bringing it. So
Things are
this on
changing fast.
Fernandez, thanks. Yes. Okay. I think it's just speaking of Fernandez. Oh, okay. Let me share on my side. So I also see a question about how to use word. I'll come back to that question because I think that's also an important question. Yeah, so let me go back. Oh, okay. Sorry, let me go back to the one I regenerated so that I don't have to start all over. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so what Fernandez was showing essentially is that you can also interact with the speakers. So beyond just getting them to speak to you, you can actually prompt them by voice. So yeah, so just a minute for it to get fully loaded. Okay, so it's taking some time to load.
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, but you can play. But once it loads, you can play. There's a play button at the bottom, and then you can say what you need to
Yeah.
say. After which he
Yes,
responds, he asks you like you're having a conversation. It's still a little
Mr.
slow.
Fernandez,
exactly.
it's
It's still a little
breaking.
slow
Yes.
nowadays, but it's getting better. Maybe in the next few weeks we can see it used better.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So so Emmanuella, maybe we'll take more questions. Let me give you this some time to still load, and then I would also share my screen subsequently to show how to use Microsoft tools to quickly redact a document.
All right, sir. So we'll take few questions. All right, there's a question here. Is there a maximum number of pages that can be uploaded to the deep dive?
No. So with Google Notebook LM, which is one of the advantages it has over the others, you can actually upload really large files, but I think there's a limit. Fernandez, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's a size limit of is it 50 or 75 megabytes. Fernandez, you would have to correct me on that. I know there's a limit to the size you can, but with Google Notebook LM, for instance, on some of the other tools that are similar, the limit is the document shouldn't exceed 15 pages and shouldn't exceed, I think, 5 megabyte. But with Google Notebook LM, you have quite uh, um, a large, uh, a large volume you can actually bring up.
Okay. Thank you,
Yes.
sir. Okay,
Yes.
there's another question here from the audience. You
Yes.
mentioned using words to blur out important information before uploading. How do we do that, please?
Yeah, so I'm going to come to that shortly. So if there's another question, just take it. I'm trying to quickly prepare a document on Microsoft Word I can use to demonstrate that.
Okay. Let me get other questions for.
Mm. Okay, and then I'll quickly check if the interactive deep dive. Okay, yeah. So maybe I'll quickly come back to this. This has loaded. Let's demonstrate
Okay.
the interactive deep dive before I do the demo. Then maybe we'll wrap up. I'll do the demo of how to use to quickly redact information using Microsoft Word. Confirm once my screen comes up.
It's loading, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So, is my screen up now?
Yes, I can see a screen.
Okay. Okay. Can you still hear me, Emmanuella?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, apologies. I have to reshare my screen again. For some reason, it went blank. So let me. Okay, yeah, it's fine now. So let me reshare the screen. Okay, confirm once my screen is up.
Okay, it's still loading.
Okay. Is it up yet? Sorry, I
No,
think part
sir.
of the problem is is the internet speed. Okay, Emmanuella, is it up now?
No, sir.
Okay, let me stop. Let me try it again for the last time. If we still have a challenge, then perhaps we'll just move on to the Microsoft Word, and then we'll come back a little bit later. And apologies to everyone. I believe we have well short our time. Okay, I guess it's up now.
No, it's still loading.
Okay.
So can we explore how to use Microsoft Word?
Microsoft Word. Okay, very well. Let's do that since we're having some challenge with this. Yeah, so I'm going to just show you a document. It's a mutual non-disclosure agreement. Okay, Emmanuel, is my screen up?
Your screen is still not showing.
Oh,
It's still loading.
okay. So essentially, I'll just be talking us through it until the screen comes up. So the feature I'm trying to show us is a very simple feature in Microsoft Word. It's just a simple feature called find and replace. So what it simply does is that it gives you the option of telling the Microsoft Word a particular word you want it to find, and then the word you want to replace it with. So it simply means that if my client's name on a document is Max Ikongbeh, for instance, and I don't want that, I want to change that name before I feed the document in, then I simply ask it to find anywhere Max Ikongbeh is written and change it to maybe Mr. John Doe, just a fictional name that would mask the name of my client. My screen is still not up.
No, sir.
Okay, that means this is so let me try again. Sorry, I think it's that means the problem wasn't necessarily from the problem wasn't necessarily from. Okay, so confirm if it's up now.
No, it's still loading, sir.
Okay. Okay, then I just noticed that it seems I did not get one of the questions that I answered earlier very correctly. So I believe someone was asking that apart from the documents uploaded, is it possible to get Google Notebook LM to, give you answers from other
Not
sources as
search.
well? So yes, exactly. So yeah, sorry, yeah. So I should have mentioned, yes, it's possible. I was only trying to focus on the fact that the advantage of Google Notebook LM is that it helps you cut down on the sources, but you can. So for instance, you can actually point Google Notebook LM even to a website, and that website becomes one of the sources it would give you information from. You can also allow Google Notebook LM help you search for the sources itself. So there's a function on the left-hand column where we have sources. You'd see that the first uh, um, uh, option there allows you to add a document, and then next to there's a column saying discover. You can actually go to that discover and you can type in what you want it to tell you more about, and it will itself get you the sources. But I'm just saying that if you simply want to do a general AI type research, then you might want to use Gemini, because the advantage of Google Notebook LM is that it just helps you to reduce the sources, because sometimes you want to just have information from a particular source. You don't want the information spread out. So yes, you can, just to make sure I've answered that question clearly. So is my screen up yet, Emmanuella?
Not at all, sir. Please, can you just try again?
Okay, let me try again for the last time. I
Yes,
think
sir.
it's
Thank you, sir.
I don't think it's a network challenge, because if it was, we would know. So perhaps it's but again, like we say with technology has its own way of letting you down at critical junctures. I mean, technology is always been is always good, but then it also has its own limitations sometimes.
Okay, sir. It's still
Confirm.
loading. It's not showing. It's not
Okay.
showing. But sir, please, can you take us through the theory aspects? So maybe much more later, everyone can try the practical aspects on their own, so we can
Okay.
save time. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Um, I'm sorry to butt in, gentlemen, Mr.
Yes.
Ikongbeh, Emmanuella.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this. We have taken quite a bit of time. It's already 37 minutes above our time slot. So perhaps maybe Emmanuella can guide you to take one more response so that we can close and let everybody go. We already have complaints in the chat box.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank
And
you,
my
sir.
apologies again to everyone for the internet challenges we have had that really delayed this session. So, Emmanuella, we'll take the last question.
Okay. We have actually exhausted our questions, a lot of our questions. Thank you. We've exhausted much of our questions.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Mr.
So
Marx, I want you.
Israel Usman is helping us out by saying Control H on your laptop in Microsoft Word brings up the find and replace button I told you about. Yes. So unfortunately, I couldn't share my screen.
Okay.
I would have shown you that. But yes, you use Control H. It
All
simply
right.
brings up a box that says find and replace. The top column tells you the word you want to find, and the bottom column tells you the word you want to replace. There are additional options that allows you, for instance, uh, um, specify that you want it to also maintain the same sentence, the same word case, in terms of whether I want it to be all capital letters or first letter capital, and also they are like, unfortunately, I can't share my screen. If I could, I would have shown you, but it's a very simple tool to use. Israel Usman has helped us. I'll just, on your
Okay,
laptop, once you're in Microsoft Word, just hold down Control button and click on H. It brings up that find and replace button, and you can type in the word you want it to find and then what you want it to replace, and that will be all. So I think on that note, we can bring this to a close. Let me again apologize to everyone for the delays and the network challenges we have had, but we are, at least it's
okay,
good that
sir.
we need to make some progress. And Emmanuella, thank you so
Um,
much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Marx, for this practical section. We really enjoyed ourselves very, very well. And I believe everyone participant in today's session learned something. Thank you so much. We're grateful. Thank you for your time. So at this point, before I invite Mr. Fernandez to actually give the closing remark, I saw a lot of questions, persons asking if if this session is being recorded. Yes, the session is being recorded, and you can always find it on the MBA SLP YouTube platform. So after this session, you can go there to search for it, and you can always get every one thing that we've discussed today. So please, can we make welcome Mr. Fernandez Marcus? Sir, please, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aluya. I'm very grateful. Finally, I can turn off my screen. Thank you very much, Ms. Ekono. Thank you very much for a wonderful session. Mr. Ikongbeh, you're always available and can be counted on whenever we need you. I'm very grateful. I thank Fadikemi, who has been at the back end of this, trying to make these things work, as well as my friend Damilola Alabi, who is sort of like the secretary-ish ad hoc secretary for all our events. I thank you all very much. I thank the senior counsel who are here, particularly Mrs. Adekoya, who has been here on and off. I've been trying to get her to unmute so she can say a word. Ms. Adekoya, if you are willing, we're happy to hear from you. So to everyone, Ms. Adekoya is one of the icons of our practice. And interestingly, she's been very interested in the use of technology, AI, and all the other ones. So, Mr. Adekoya, if you want to say a word, please go ahead.
My only word is to say thank you to Fernandez and his team for organizing this session. He and I have had a lot of discussions as to whether lawyers will be replaced by machines, and if so, when exactly. As a past chairman of the section of legal practice, I'm very pleased with the outcome of these workshops and webinars. And I urge everyone who has benefited from this or previous workshops to consider joining the SLP. There are other committees as well that also have other interesting sessions. And I think knowledge shared is knowledge gained. I was born before computer, so I've definitely learned a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Adekoya. Always a pleasure to see you and speak with you. Thank you very much. And on this note, I also thank all the attendees. This has been a very productive and enjoyable session. We've had a lot of questions. You can still ask your questions. You can send them to the email address I sent you this. We'll try to answer all the questions. The recording is already on YouTube now. In our follow-up email, we'll send you the recording from the follow-up email. We'll send you the link to the recording. We'll also try and do a report and send you within the next 24 hours a report of this session along with other information. But please do well to register and join the MBSLP. As Mr. Adekoya has said, there are very many other committees. Whatever area your practice is, you can get a thing or two from joining the SLP. And again, you don't have to, because you have not been a member of the SBL. You can also be a member of the SLP. You can be a member of any of the sections of fora. There's no limitation. So don't say, no, you can join all of them. I'm a member of the SBL. I'm also a member of the SLP. I'm also a member of my branch, the Lagos branch of the Nigerian Bar Station, amongst others. So please feel free to join. We have been sharing a document that shows how to register. Simply visit mbslp.org and register. Thank you all very much once again. I look forward to seeing you at the next session, which is next week, Thursday, by the way. On that session, we'll be talking about ChatGPT, the ChatGPT. So what we're going to do is something like this, but a little more detailed too, from start. How do you open an account? How do you use temporary browsers? How do you use this? How do you take out this information? How do you ensure that your information is not used for training? To what extent can you use? What kind of questions can you ask ChatGPT? I mean, some of the answers are similar here, but they are also quite different because ChatGPT uses most data for training data, except in particular models. So thank you very much and have a wonderful session. Thank you. Also, have a wonderful
All right,
evening and
thank you,
weekend.
sir. All right, everyone, thank you for attending. All right, bye.